Things just got wild in the sister wives world. Hidden alliances, shocking betrayals, and a forbidden photo that's breaking the internet. Stick around because you do not want to miss what happens next, and hit that subscribe button now because trust me, you'll want to be the first to see every jaw-dropping moment. The internet has officially shattered, and for those who thought they had seen the peak of sister wives drama, think again, because nothing could have prepared us for the explosive events surrounding Janelle Brown's wedding and the shocking revelations that came with it. The leaks alone have sent social media into a frenzy, and insiders claim that the fallout will be felt for years to come. But let us start at the beginning. The wedding itself was reportedly a lavish affair, full of laughter, champagne, and the kind of liberation energy that only comes from breaking free of years of control and manipulation. The bride looked radiant in a gown that perfectly balanced elegance with personal freedom, and from the earliest moments it was clear that this was more than a celebration of marriage, it was a celebration of emancipation. Those present could feel the electricity in the air as Janelle smiled and moved through the room with confidence and joy that had been absent from her life for far too long. But while the atmosphere was jubilant, outside a storm was brewing behind the scenes because Cody Brown had once again found a way to insert himself into an event that was not meant for him. Sources close to the production revealed that he sent a package to the wedding that was both bizarre and offensive, causing immediate whispers among guests and security personnel. The audacity was staggering because this was not a sentimental gift or a peace offering. It was reportedly a stack of property tax documents for Coyote Pass, accompanied by a note that implied obligation and debt, rather than congratulations and celebration. Observers who witnessed the moment described the room going silent as the box was presented with caution and curiosity, but Janelle, being the composed and empowered woman she has become, responded in a way that would define the evening by laughing and returning the package to the courier without reading the note in full. The words she allegedly used, "return to sender, not at this address anymore," carried a double meaning that was delicious in its symbolism. She was physically and emotionally free from the reach of Cody and his attempts at control. The guests reportedly erupted in applause and laughter at this act of defiance, and the energy in the room shifted as if the delivery of pettiness had been completely neutralized by grace and confidence. This was only the beginning of the drama, however, because the Forbidden Trinity photo leaked shortly thereafter, and social media exploded with speculation and excitement. The image featured Janelle, Christine, and Mary arm in arm, clinking champagne glasses and laughing hysterically, a sight that had been unimaginable for years, given the careful division Cody maintained among his wives to assert dominance and prevent unity. The body language in the photographs spoke volumes, and insiders insist that it was not staged for cameras, but a genuine moment of joy and solidarity that undermined everything Cody had worked to control. For decades, Cody relied on division to keep himself at the center of the family dynamic, isolating Mary, Christine, and Janelle from each other and feeding the narrative of competition and disloyalty. But this photo completely dismantled that illusion. It proved that the women could and would come together without his interference, and it represented a symbolic middle finger to his decades of manipulation. Social media fans immediately dubbed them the Ex-Wives Club, and the term stuck as viewers marveled at the audacity and beauty of the moment. The reactions online ranged from sheer delight to disbelief as commentators speculated about what might have been said, exchanged, and planned in those minutes, captured forever in a single frame. But the real story extends far beyond a single image, because insiders also confirmed that Mary Brown took the microphone during the reception to deliver a toast that will likely go down in reality television history. Her speech reportedly started with a congratulatory tone, acknowledging Janelle's new chapter and the journey they had shared, but quickly pivoted into a metaphorical takedown of the past. The now famous clunker line, comparing Cody to a vehicle that was broken down, inefficient, and incapable of providing what the family needed, left the room in stitches and shocked everyone familiar with the history of their relationships. This toast was not just humor, it was empowerment. It was reclaiming narrative control, and it was a clear message to Cody that the era of his manipulation had ended. Witnesses claimed that the energy was electric as Christine high-fived Mary and Janelle laughed, wiping away tears of relief and joy. The collective release of decades of tension was palpable, and the cameras reportedly captured every second of it for posterity. Meanwhile, the logistics of the event were almost cinematic as the courier arrived with the infamous package. The careful placement of the package away from other gifts, the anticipation of the guests, and the theatrical reveal all played out like a scripted scene. But unlike Cody's attempts to control it, this moment was fully under the control of the women. Janelle's reaction transformed what could have been an uncomfortable interruption into a masterclass in emotional resilience. She refused to be drawn into drama and instead turned it into a moment of triumph, further solidifying the visual narrative that had already begun with the Forbidden Trinity photograph. But while the women celebrated outside and with the cameras rolling, Cody and Robin were reportedly sequestered in the mansion, stewing over the unfolding events. Cody allegedly contacted legal counsel to discuss defamation claims based on Mary's toast, claiming that the humorous metaphors and jokes implied negligence, incompetence, and poor leadership, and could be monetized without his consent. Legal experts following the story immediately pointed out that truth is an absolute defense against slander, and that his decades of public statements on television regarding the wives would severely undermine any claim he could make. Nevertheless, Cody reportedly spent the evening fixated on this perceived slight, calculating his next move, and unable to comprehend the symbolic power of the unity he had so long tried to prevent. The dichotomy between the liberated women and the frustrated man could not be starker, and production insiders insist that this contrast was impossible to ignore for anyone observing the events unfold. The text messages from Robin attempting to reach Janelle were similarly blocked, adding another layer of symbolism to the day. Her words never landed, and the lack of response was itself a power move, reinforcing the distance and independence Janelle has claimed for herself. In every way, the wedding acted as a microcosm for the shifting dynamic within the family, the rise of the ex-wives club, and the waning influence of Cody and Robin. The media coverage immediately picked up on the Forbidden Trinity photo, and the story went viral, with fans speculating about alliances, new business ventures, and potential spin-offs focused solely on the women. The wedding seemed to serve as a launching pad for this narrative change, and insiders hint that TLC executives are already considering rebranding or developing specials highlighting the independence and empowerment of Janelle, Christine, and Mary. The energy at the wedding was reportedly contagious as the women danced, sang, and celebrated, fully in control of their own stories. This was a night that had been decades in the making, a culmination of silent endurance, clever maneuvering, and finally unrestrained joy. The clinking of champagne glasses, laughter of three women who had been manipulated, silenced, and undermined for years created a soundscape that symbolized liberation and the reclaiming of joy and agency. In short, the wedding was more than a marriage celebration. It was a declaration of independence, a visual manifesto that Cody's reign over the family narrative was over, and that the ex-wives club had officially taken center stage. The implications for the show are profound because audience engagement numbers reportedly spiked with the images and clips featuring the women together, while segments of Cody alone were met with criticism, ratioed comments, and even fan outrage. Analysts suggest that this could mark a permanent shift in the storytelling of the franchise, with viewers craving empowerment narratives over patriarchal drama. The wedding also revealed long-simmering financial tensions. Cody's attempts to remind Janelle of past debts by sending the tax paperwork underscores a pattern of controlling behavior, using finances as leverage for emotional dominance. But Janelle's response was symbolic and assertive, refusing to engage and returning the package, effectively nullifying the power play. The act served as a lesson in reclaiming autonomy over one's own financial and emotional life, further solidifying her role as a matriarchal figure in the post-Cody era. The symbolism of the wedding extends to Mary taking the microphone, a formerly quiet figure standing tall and delivering a public statement with humor and metaphor demonstrates the potential for narrative reclamation by those historically silenced or ignored. The toast itself encapsulates a larger story of endurance, agency, and wit, triumphing over control and manipulation. Fans are particularly excited about the prospect of Mary, Christine, and Janelle collaborating in future projects, further highlighting the audience's desire to see women succeeding independently and joyfully without male oversight. Meanwhile, Robin's blocked text messages serve as a reminder that attempts to manipulate the narrative through pity or passive aggression are no longer effective, and that boundaries can be enforced decisively without fear of retaliation or guilt. This aspect of the story has sparked conversation among viewers about the importance of personal boundaries and the power of social media and technology to create distance when necessary. This photo alone has reshaped the conversation around the show and prompted analysts to speculate on spin-offs, reality specials, and potential business opportunities centered around the trio of women. The energy of the wedding continues to ripple across social media, with memes, viral clips, and detailed analyses of body language and tone dominating discussion threads. Fans are dissecting every aspect of the night, from the attire to the placement of the champagne glasses to the sequencing of speeches, all as evidence of empowerment, narrative, and control reclaimed. Observers point out that the combination of humor, defiance, and camaraderie in Mary's toast was particularly potent, as it communicates both levity and authority, and it cements her as a key figure in this new era of the family saga. Meanwhile, Cody and Robin's responses continue to feed the narrative of the old guard, struggling to maintain relevance and control, as the matriarchs of the Ex-Wives Club rise in confidence, visibility, and influence. The symbolism of the returned tax bill, Mary's clunker toast, and the dancing circle of the three women links together visually, emotionally, and narratively into a statement that the family dynamic has permanently shifted and that audience attention, loyalty, and investment have moved firmly to the empowered women. The wedding has become more than a personal celebration. It is a turning point for storytelling, audience engagement, and the cultural interpretation of long-running reality shows. The Ex-Wives Club now operates as a cohesive unit, capable of dictating their own narrative agenda, challenging traditional patriarchal structures, and asserting authority in both personal and public spaces. The implications for the franchise are enormous, and sources suggest that TLC executives are closely monitoring the social media metrics, engagement statistics, and narrative reception as they consider future content direction. The combination of audience approval, critical acclaim, and viral attention positions the women as central figures in a reimagined series or spin-off, emphasizing empowerment, independence, and personal fulfillment. The wedding also offers insight into the long-term impact of personal agency and boundary enforcement, as Janelle's blocking of Robin and refusal to engage with the gift creates a blueprint for personal sovereignty in high-conflict situations. This has resonated with viewers and has sparked a broader cultural conversation about autonomy, assertiveness, and reclaiming power in complex family systems. The contrast between the joyful, liberated women and the frustrated, isolated men provides a compelling narrative of empowerment versus entitlement that is both satisfying and instructive for audiences, and the ongoing engagement metrics suggest that this dynamic will continue to drive viewer interest, social media interaction, and potentially advertising and sponsorship decisions as the network recalibrates focus to audience desires. The Forbidden Trinity photo has inspired fan art, commentary, piece contributors, and interviews, emphasizing solidarity, sisterhood, and humor as tools for overcoming historical oppression and manipulation. Within hours of the leak, the term Ex-Wives Club was trending online and quickly adopted across multiple platforms to celebrate the newfound empowerment and unity displayed in the photograph. The symbolism of champagne, laughter, and linked arms has become a shorthand for victory, resilience, and independence that transcends the immediate family dynamic and resonates with audiences seeking narratives of liberation and joy. The reaction from Cody and Robin continues to reinforce the narrative of decline for traditional patriarchal authority in favor of matriarchal agency. The combination of legal threats, ignored texts, and social media backlash further cements the story as one of rising female empowerment over crumbling old power structures, and it underscores the dramatic irony of attempts at control being publicly neutralized by humor, grace, and collective solidarity of the women. This wedding marks a historic moment in reality television, where the personal, the performative, and the symbolic converge to create a watershed event in audience engagement, storytelling, and the cultural understanding of liberation, empowerment, and redefined family dynamics, as Mary, Christine, and Janelle take center stage as not only participants, but as narrators and agents of their own story. The Ex-Wives Club has risen, and with it, the potential for an entirely new era of reality television storytelling. And that's the epic fallout. Cody blindsided, the Trinity thriving, and the ultimate victory for the ex-wives. If you loved seeing them win and want all the next shocking updates first, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications now. You do not want to miss a single moment.